Reddit did to do and welcome into more important issues. It is Sunday, May 3rd. That's correct. My days are so off. I'm so sorry, guys. Great to have you all in, though. I'm excited to get this show. I was already excited before today. Add 2 commitments. Now, Billy Ratliff, VFL. We're actually going to talk about him a lot. Big time play by him. And then he's going to join the show. So this is a great show. You guys picked the right time. For all of you all that are joining, pick the right time to listen. It's going to be a great one. We're recapping the 98 Arkansas game, and it just felt classic Neyland. Like I could feel Neyland as I watched it on my computer. It was loud. They had Arkansas didn't even mean to, but when they gave us that timeout after Travis Henry took the ball to the 1-yard line, we got a minute and a half roughly of just a stadium shot of everyone just going crazy, waiting on the game-winning touchdown.
In terrible weather, too.
In terrible weather.
Yep.
107,000 people in piss-pouring rain.
Yep.
Anybody that went to that game, if you were at that game, comment, let us know. Anybody that went to that game certainly doesn't regret it. That was a classic SEC, wonderful football game. I actually didn't catch the Aflac trivia question. Did you catch the answer?
It was when the last 2 SEC teams.
Mm-hmm. Did you catch the answer? I missed the answer.
It was 1971. It was Auburn and Alabama.
Okay, so 1971, go ahead and give you guys the full question was, the Aflac trivia question in the Arkansas 98 game was, when was the last time 2 unbeaten SEC teams met this late? Obviously, it's not the case anymore, as 2 SEC teams are typically either fighting each other for a playoff spot, or potentially maybe trying to one-up another team from another conference. But that certainly is not the case anymore. So
yeah,
it's pretty rare you don't see 2 unbeaten teams meet this late.
I think Alabama was 3 and Auburn was 4.
Yeah.
So
we do have a great show. We're talking about the 98 Rewatch. Got big weekend recruiting. We are still talking about Tyon Evans and Terrence Lewis. I know that feels like a while ago, but it's still recent, so we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the commitments today from Cody Brown and Deshaun Rucker. Can't wait to talk about those. I love one of these players, so I'm excited to talk about them. I'll wait, though. I'm going to save that.
You love one of them.
Well, I mean, obviously they're both attractive commits, but I really like the way one plays.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that.
I didn't know if you had like some sort of like connection.
Yeah, just brothers, pretty much. He doesn't know it yet, but pretty much. Then we are going to be joined by Billy Ratliff. Going to talk some vol football, past, present, maybe future. I don't know. We'll talk. Excited to get him on the show. Going to do a projected win total. 2020 season, we cannot wait for it. We're going to talk about the games we expect to win, games maybe expect to lose. I don't know if that's the right thing to say for Tennessee. I don't expect Tennessee to ever lose a game.
Yeah, especially the day of.
Especially the day of. When you get me to the day of, I'm buying in. Yep. So we are going to talk about the projected win total, talking about sports returning. Obviously, the talk's heating up as everybody's looking for solutions. A couple of leagues may have some solutions. We'll try to figure that out. Segments, most important of the week and fail of the week. Guys, before Landon tells you about some of our friends, I want to make sure to remind you all to go retweet this on Twitter, share it on Facebook, like it on Facebook, follow myself, Caleb Mitchell, on Twitter, Landon Raby on Twitter. Make sure you follow Volunteer Roadshow on Twitter and Facebook. They're producing content. Because they have, we're happy that we're a part of Volunteer Roadshow. We're producing content every day. You've got Volunteer Roadshow picked off and Morning Chat with Billy Ratliff, who you'll hear from later.
Yeah.
Before we jump into the show, though, Landon's got some people to tell you about.
Yeah, go check out our sponsors, Bet Now, Hound Dogs, Commercial Bank, and Tennessee Tap House. I'm actually going to tell you guys about Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank, and they're a leading financial institution with the services, capabilities, and resources of regional and national banks. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning your next vacation, Commercial Bank is with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Life made better. Visit cbtn.com to learn more and find a branch near you. Guys, go check out the official bank of more important issues, Commercial Bank.
Do it.
Go check them out. We'll actually do a Hound Dogs giveaway as well at the end of the show. We'll give away a $25 gift certificate. And at the end, we'll let you know how you can cash that in. But stay tuned. And also comment along with us. If you have some questions, we'll be happy to get to those. So just send them. We're kind of following along with YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. So do that with us. I'm good. You good?
Perfect. Before I do want to add one more thing. Did you say how to enter to win the gift card?
I did not.
So make sure you go to volunteerroadshow.com. You can do that right now. We'll wait on you. We can do that right now. Go to volunteerroadshow.com, make an account, and you'll be created. It'll be created, and you'll be entered for a gift card for $25 from Hound Dogs. So do it.
Easy.
And you get a ton of content on there.
Yeah.
So
Simple,
you can chat, you can post a profile picture, all the good stuff. We already do have a question. It's about the recruiting rankings. I don't think we've moved up any. I think we're still at 3, right?
We're 3 on 247. We're number 2 on Rivals.
So no changes as far as we know have been reflected in that. We could see a jump in North Carolina, I guess, right? With a forced. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
So they've already updated.
They have already updated, and we haven't jumped them. Okay,
we're like right there. Like they're like
just like a few points off from jumping them.
There's like 229. We're like 228.
Gotcha. So waiting on some more commitments this week, maybe. I don't know.
I'm hearing Sunday's a big day. If y'all want to tune in to Twitter or wherever you get your news, Sunday might be a good day.
This Sunday or next Sunday?
Next Sunday.
Oh, dropping a little hint. I like it.
Yeah, look.
Next Sunday, be ready. And we'll have a show for you guys, so be ready. Big Vol Daddy said 2 on one of them. So did you say we're 2 on Rivals? Is that right?
Yes.
And he said none of which matters at this point. You're absolutely correct. Got to win ball games. That's all that matters. And we're going to talk about how we're going to do that with not only this recruiting class, but the next. How many scholars do we have to offer? I assume 25.
Yep, as of right now.
As of right now. Let's talk about the 98 game. I told you guys I was going to set the mood for you. We're going to go back. So everybody close their eyes. We're going to go back to 1998, okay? Did you actually see the CBS break-in?
I didn't.
So CBS broke into the game. There's some breaking news because while all this is going on, there was some stuff with the with Iraq. Of course, like apparently that's never happened.
And we missed a touchdown.
So, but Bill Clinton was potentially going to be calling an airstrike on
Saddam Hussein
on Iraq, and that was called off though as they came to an agreement. Yada yada yada. You can Wikipedia it. It's a good read. I'm just trying to set the tone.
Yeah.
And tomorrow you'll see Peyton Manning and the Colts beat the Jets 24-23, and the Tennessee Oilers at Vanderbilt Stadium. I believe it was a home game at Vanderbilt Stadium. Beat the Steelers 23-14.
Oh,
so
big wins.
Big wins all around. And then obviously we go back to Saturday night. Tennessee, the number 1 ranked Tennessee Volunteers, welcome in number 10 Arkansas and Houston Nutt. Don't you miss him? Nah, you don't miss him. You don't miss him being in the SEC?
I mean, I guess he did good. He was good that year. I mean, Arkansas was good.
Yeah, no, they were. I was very impressed with their defense.
Yeah.
Very impressed. They were very physical. It was obvious that, in the same way Tennessee does, just try to create havoc in how they bring pressure, and they did that a lot. T. Martin didn't have an easy night. That offensive line didn't have an easy night.
They blitzed all night.
Like also,
literally, they brought 6 every single time.
Just about every single time.
I mean, we do that too, but.
Right. I forgot to mention the AP Top 10 going. Oh, that's next week that I have written down. I don't have the AP Top 10 written down. So I have next week's. So after this game, you'll see Tennessee, Kansas State at number 2. What the crap?
I know this week Florida State is number 5, and Chris Winkie just went down, so their backup quarterback's playing.
And they'll move to number 4 on Monday.
Okay.
And then Ohio State's at 5, UCLA's at 3, and then Arkansas after this loss will fall back to 13th. So, what'd you think about the Reebok uniforms?
Arkansas's?
Yeah.
They're pretty ugly.
Yeah, pretty ugly. I do like that color red better than the color red they've been using lately. I'll say that.
The Reebok cleats brought back some memories.
Dude, the Reebok cleats were awesome.
They were
comfortable. They were heavy.
Yes, they were.
They were heavy, but like
your
feet were. Your legs might have hurt after the day, but your feet were
right.
Fine.
Yeah,
because you were lugging those things around,
like ankle weights.
Right.
It was the first time Tennessee's been number 1 in 42 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I have since 1956. Yep. Dude, what about Travis Henry just absolutely going off? And it took a while too.
Yeah, I mean the first 3 series, I think we punted, we fumbled, we tried to go for it on 3rd and short, and the fullback ran into T. Martin and kind of blew up the play, and we had to punt that one, and then we threw a pick. And no, we didn't throw a pick. We missed a field goal.
We had some pretty bad turnovers in this game.
Yep.
Had some pretty not We didn't take care of the ball well.
And when Travis Stevens fumbled, I don't think he went back in the game. And I mean, I don't know why you would when Travis Henry's running the ball like he was.
What's crazy about him is he rushed for almost 200 yards, rushed for 199, and his longest carry is 25. So like he was grinding those yards out.
Oh yeah,
against a defense that like they were hitting him hard every time they could. I mean, they weren't going away; they weren't shying away. He was hitting somebody every play and still grinded out 199.
It's like a bowling ball.
Oh yeah. I love those Tennessee backs that play like that. And then him jumping over the line of scrimmage for the game-winning touchdown. That's why I can't wait to get that video out, because we posted question of the day. If you didn't participate, question of the day the other day was your favorite running back. And Hunter Payne posted on our Facebook. He said that his favorite was probably Cedric Houston, and he misses Cedric Houston jumping over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
and I was like, I miss every Tennessee. Like that was one of my favorite.
That's Tennessee football.
General football play of all time, like a running back jumping over the line of scrimmage for a touchdown. Yeah. So you got a little taste of it.
And now you don't really see it very much.
No, someone had a good point. Analytics probably tell you that's not the smartest play for injury or scoring.
Yeah.
But what's funny is, like, do you remember...
Garantano tried it.
Right. How often do you remember a Tennessee running back, I'm sure it happened all the time, getting stuffed at the line, jumping over it?
Nope.
Maybe like once?
Maybe.
And I couldn't think of, like, the time. So I feel like I like the chances. I like our odds.
And if they did stop at that play, we're going to do it again the next play, and they weren't going to stop it. So.
Yeah. Let's roll it back. Run it back. I don't think I really had... dude, the final 8 minutes were some of the most fun football I've ever watched.
Yeah. And Arkansas, like, first thing that I noticed, or that, like, I wanted to mention on the show was the Friday of walkthroughs, Arkansas goes to Tennessee's locker room and outside of it does the Woo Pig chant.
That is the most, like, 1960s high school football thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. And then T. Martin was just
Did they do it in their pickup trucks?
Probably. They're just snorting away. But yeah, T. Martin was like, "Yeah, this is the SEC. We don't do that." Kind of
Speaking of stuff like that, did you hear our number one chant at the end of the year, or at the end of the game?
We're number one.
We gotta fix that.
Yeah, that was
not again.
No,
not again. In that last team,
I guess when you get to that point, you can kind of do whatever.
Fair. You're number one. You can chant whatever you want. Chant whatever you want. There were 3 turnovers in that last 10 minutes. But,
dude, Arkansas, like, that was the biggest choke game I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, they played so good until the final 4 minutes.
Yeah, like the punt over or the snap over the punter's head that led to a safety, and then obviously the stumble fumble.
What's the point of having an illegal kicking for that play just to call it a safety?
I have no clue.
Do they even call that anymore? Because I don't recall like hearing illegal kicking when those plays happen.
No, I think it's literally just...
It's just a safety?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard and you're always taught that, so...
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Certainly the first time I remember a flag being called during a play like that and I've seen that play happen, unfortunately, several times. But the offense struggled too. 3 punts in the first quarter, not ideal.
Yeah, and T. Martin struggled in this game. He was, the last 4 games before this one, he was completing 75.2% of his passes. In this game, he was not on target. I can get you that exact.
I've got the box score pulled up already. Well, I did.
10 for 27.
Nice.
155 yards and a touchdown. And then obviously an interception. Yeah, not a great game. But I feel like a lot of that was just Arkansas. Like they were a solid team, and they mentioned it at the beginning of the game. They're like, no one's gonna play harder than Arkansas.
Right, and that's like with the 3 turnovers. It was an exciting last 10 minutes. It wasn't necessarily sloppy. Like all of the turnovers were being forced, other than the Clint Sterner stumble fumble. But even that one,
it was forced.
We pushed the guard back.
Billy, annihilated Brandon Burlsworth.
Right, but it's still a pretty sloppy play. But other than that, like the turnovers, were not forced. Or were forced. Other than, that one, yes, it was forced. Like, we had to make a play. The Tennessee defense, Billy Ratliff made a phenomenal play, but it probably still should have happened. Like,
yeah,
the quarterback's still getting his
I think
shoot for that one.
We talked about it, I think, last episode was, teams got to have some luck to go their way.
Yep.
To win national championships. I feel like when you have some luck go your way, that's when you know you're destined to win a national championship.
Yeah.
And Auburn, they didn't end up winning it, but to make it there, they had to get a kick six, and they also had to do a last-second Hail Mary, and it was tipped, and it landed in the wide receiver's arms for a touchdown against Georgia.
That still pisses me off watching that play.
Yeah.
I'm not a Georgia fan either. It's just like, I can't imagine that happening as an athlete. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Cedric Wilson had a very nice one-handed catch that in real time I was like, no chance he got that.
He did.
And he did.
Fearless Price also had one.
Did he?
Yeah, it was like an out route and he threw it behind him and he kind of just reached out. And
Also, I think I said Cedric Wilson instead of Cedric Houston when I was talking about the running back jumping over the line of scrimmage.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I said it correctly or not.
I think you said Houston. Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Never mind. I'm good. I don't have any faith in myself.
Dude, Anthony Lucas tore hard
Yes.
secondary up with 8 receptions, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
He was... I don't know what his 40 time was. I don't know what his 100 time was. But the boy could scoot.
Yeah. And
I mean, there's one play he runs past Steve Johnson, and he left. He was he was gone.
Even with Steven, and he's leaving.
Yeah, he left in a hurry.
But he was averaging 26 yards per reception.
That's stupid.
Coming into the game. That's like Marquez Callaway from last season.
Yeah, that's just dumb. I'm not even happy for him.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Tore us up. Yeah, and then Brendan Brillsworth. If y'all haven't seen Greater, it talks about that.
I do need to.
That football, and a lot of it is the 1998 because Brendan Brillsworth is such a big part in that season. And they talk about the Tennessee game is a big build up to that Tennessee game.
Yeah.
And everything like that. So great movie to watch. You get to see kind of it's supposed to be Al Wilson, and Deion Grant when Deion Grant blocks the field goal and Al Wilson picks it up. Like it's really cool to like know that's what actually happened and then kind of play it out that way. It's really cool.
Right.
Really cool. Good movie to watch. Very sad. So get your tissues out. But yeah, good movie to kind of Tennessee gets a little sneak in there.
Right. Is Al Wilson the most terrifying human being you've ever seen run a football?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Pretty. Like I'm not. Nobody should be like. Only you have to be pretty psychotic to even be like, yeah, I'll try to tackle that.
Jamal Lewis is like that too. I was just And Sean Bryson, I would not want to be standing still waiting on Jamal Lewis. You already have to hit Jamal Lewis, but you're gonna have to go through Sean Bryson to get to Jamal Lewis. That sounds.
Well, and imagine like shedding a block from Sean Bryson. Like you do get off the block, and then you have Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, cool. You're like, okay,
yeah. Cool. 2 concussions on this play. This will be fun.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Because it probably happened a few times.
It probably did happen, and they probably just sent him right back out in the game.
They're like, oh, he's gonna be out for the rest of the first half, so he can catch his breath.
Just a headache. We gave him some ibuprofen. You're good to go.
He'll play in the second half. It's fine. Yeah. That's fine. Tennessee's 8-0 though. That's all that matters. They're gonna remain number 1 next week, and we're on to Kentucky next week.
That sounds right.
Is that Kentucky?
Kentucky,
real quick.
Kentucky.
Update: they don't win.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Like all the time. So I guess Tim Couch be playing.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if he's there.
I mean, he was the number 1 draft pick. I hope he was playing. I don't know.
They probably put up a lot of offense. I mean, I guess Tim Couch is probably licking his chops looking at her secondary against Arkansas.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. Okay, next week we're bringing Kentucky here for I think this might be the year we cancel Battle for the Barrel, right? Or is it next year?
I don't remember when it was. Because I remember Peyton Manning holding it. That's like the last
Peyton did hold it
picture that you...
Yep. So last year was the last year for Battle of the Barrel. Okay. There won't be one. It will not be presented at the end of this game and for the rest of time.
But
so... Big Vol Daddy said that Billy Ratliff did not push Burlsworth back.
That's fake
So
news.
are we gonna have to ask him when he gets on the show? Is that gonna be contested?
I watched it. I don't understand there's no debate. Like it's. I mean, I guess he did. It was he was kind of protecting his backside, but he did step back, but he was also being pushed back.
Yep. Someone said Al Wilson was just a terrifying human being in general, gentlemen. Yep, I'm aware.
Yep.
Yes, he was.
Especially,
but I mean, like...
And a dark visor at that? No, I'm good.
Dark visor, and then, like... So, obviously, it's terrifying for him to be running at you to hit you, but at least, like, that is, like, expected. Like, you're like, he's going to try and hit me. He's running the football, and typically when someone's running the football, they're running away from you. He is still running at you, and it's more terrifying somehow, so...
Yep.
Yeah, he is. You're right, though. He is, in general, just a terrifying human being. I'm sure he's a really nice guy, though.
Yeah.
Recruiting, though. Golly, did you think this week could get any bigger? I guess today's a new week, though, so...
Yeah.
Do you think this week can get any bigger? Obviously, last week you had a lot of excitement. What was the final number? How many commits in how many days?
So I guess if you count today as the 7th day.
Okay.
So a full week, you get 7 commits in 7 days.
Wow. Two of those are Tyon Evans and Terrence Lewis, who committed on... What day? Dude, my days...
Thursday?
I think it was Thursday. My days are so off. I believe it was Thursday. And then today, you have four-star Cody Brown. He's out of Georgia. What school?
Parkview.
Parkview. That's right. And 3-star safety, defensive back, Deshaun Rucker commit. And
Miami.
From Miami. You mentioned his times. What were they again?
So his 100 meter is 10.7.
He's a fast dude. I think this is a guy. I hope we can hang on to him when this happens, while this happens. I feel like you should see that 3-star shift to...
Oh, yeah. It's definitely going to... I mean, look at his offer list.
Yeah.
He was considered a Clemson lead.
I was about to say, didn't he have a crystal ball to Clemson like yesterday?
Yeah, stole that. No, not yesterday. It's been there for a little bit.
Well, I just mean...
Oh, yeah,
it
but
was there yesterday.
Yeah, yes.
I mean.
But his offer is Alabama, Auburn, Clemson, Florida State, LSU. He's not from Miami. He's from Tallahassee. Sorry.
Tallahassee.
LSU, Maryland, Miami, South Carolina. So just about every SEC school has offered this kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would imagine he'll go up a little bit. Watching his film.
I mentioned earlier that I loved one of these recruits.
Oh, you loved him,
dude. Deshaun Rucker hits people harder than they probably. He's probably gonna. If he's at Tennessee, you guys, we should just expect him to get ejected from a couple games. And you know what? It's gonna suck. But he's also, from what I can tell, he's gonna be playing really hard and he's gonna be hitting people really hard.
Yeah.
And I said it, when all these commits rolling in, like, it looks like Jeremy Pruitt's mantra for these guys is very clear, because there's not one guy who's committed to Tennessee that is not running hard downhill and hitting people hard, whether he's running the football or defending. They are.
This whole roster transformation is just incredible. From you have guys, and Juwan Jennings was great, but he also ran like a 4.9.
Right.
Like a 4.8, 4.9, something like that. Slow, 4.7. You're getting guys bigger, faster, stronger. And I know in high school, our coaches always said, "Are you getting faster? Are you getting stronger? This, and this." And we kind of always laughed about it. It's coming to Tennessee right now.
Yeah.
Is this whole roster overhaul, if you will. You're getting guys that run legit 4.3, 4.4 40s. You're getting guys that are a lot bigger. I mean, you're getting backs that are 225. We barely had offensive linemen at 260 2 years ago.
Right.
And just a complete shift in the type of players that we're recruiting.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, this is just another DB from, you get him out of Tallahassee, and Florida State wanted him. I don't think he was recruited very heavily by Willie Taggart, but Norvell really wanted him. And you steal him away from them. You steal him away from Auburn. Auburn's just taking a beating from Tennessee right now.
They better start finding some new guys on their board, or they're not going to have guys.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to have to keep going down the board to find some that Tennessee's not wanting.
Yeah, if Tennessee takes another commit, they're going to probably be charged with theft.
Yeah. But this kid's a former basketball player, does the long jump. Like I said, does the 100-meter 4x1. He returns kicks, plays offense, kind of does it all. Kind of an athlete, I guess. Just somebody that is probably a safety when he gets to Tennessee, but also a guy that they like that could use in a bunch of different places.
And I mentioned he has a few plays where he's playing up in the box or up at the line of scrimmage, so maybe like a star position if that is something that they could see him playing. He is 5'10". I don't know what spectrum you see that as height-wise, because in the secondary it's rarely a bother. But, depending on guys you have on the outside, that may be a guy you see kind of stuck in at that star position.
Yeah.
Potentially. Another guy recruited by Derek Ansley. Chalk one up to the good guy again.
God, he's killing it.
Yep. We know who the bag man is.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Let's mute that.
Drop it.
Looking at Cody Brown, though, 4-star at a Parkview High School. We've kind of been talking about him for a while. You've liked him to Tennessee for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've really been I feel like he's been talked about consistently talking about him since he played since you saw him play against Harrison Bailey.
Yeah, so in the semifinals, the Georgia State playoffs, we saw him play against Marietta, which is Harrison Bailey. And he played against the defense with Eric Gilbert. Gosh, who was the other one? He decommitted from Tennessee. I can't remember. But he ended up going to LSU as well. So two guys that were Power 5 guys. They had guys in the secondary that were going to Power 5 programs and rushed for 200 yards. And a guy that had been on campus. I think he's friends with Harrison Bailey. So, that's kind of why I liked him to Tennessee. I mean, it's going to be hard to get him from Auburn, especially when we lost to Georgia State and BYU. And gosh, I don't even want to bring that up. But, yeah.
I do want to bring that up real quick because there's people talking trash on the stream, and this is the only thing I'm going to say. I'm not going to respond to your trash talk. I am going to warn you that if you were trash talking and you lost to Butch Jones, not once, but twice, maybe 3 times, I don't even know what team you cheer for, potentially 3 times, you can't talk trash to us. Because I don't care if I've lost to Georgia State. I don't care if I've lost to Wyoming. I don't care if I went to overtime with UAB. My team has never lost to a Butch Jones coached ball team. So,
sure.
Bye. That's all I'm going to
say. Yeah. I mean, this kid's, he's 6 foot. He's a bigger back. Doesn't have like the breakaway speed that you have with like a Jalen Wright in this class. But I think he's very similar to a Tyon Evans. So I don't know how it's going to work out. You do lose Carlin Fields and me. You do lose Tim Jordan, Ty Chandler next year. So you have guys that you're losing, guys that you want to fill those voids.
It's still going to make the roster interesting, but that's also good. That's why we go get quarterbacks. So
yeah, and the best player plays. Like it's not like we're not going to recruit to not hurt somebody's feelings.
Right. And kind of on that same note, D. Mike Willie said, "Do you guys think we will hang on to all these commits?" I mean, you just got to assume it's called a commit. They're not signed yet. Like you just have to assume you're going to lose a few. You kind of hope you don't at least lose the guys who are the backbones of this class. With Cody Brown committing after everyone, he doesn't seem like to be one of those guys. The same can be said for Deshaun Rucker. Obviously, you don't want to lose recruits. It's just the way you don't want to lose them. But it happens. It's the way it goes. You may go get another running back, and he goes looking for better options. Same for safety. So you expect to lose a few commits, just like, especially with the new transfer rules, you expect that you mentioned how all these backs are going to be back there, and it's going to be a fight. Expect one of them to transfer.
Yeah.
It's just how the way it works. Hopefully we get the best guy on the field. We get to see that, and we move on.
Yeah, I think the big thing with this is just look at Jeremy Pruitt, and since he's been here, he's not got a ton of decommits, and he's not lost a ton of guys in the program.
Right.
Guys that
play,
contribute.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. And you may, in the future, you may see some guys leave that are contributing. I think as long as you got to look at each situation one by one. If they are contributing, if they're not contributing, you can almost chalk it up to playing time, almost always.
Yeah.
To them transferring. But other than that, you got to look at it case by case. And like you stated, Jeremy Pruitt hasn't lost a lot of contributors to transferring or. Mm-hmm. Even the NFL, which I know we haven't had a ton of draft eligible guys, but even the NFL draft, no one's jumping the gun to leave early.
Right. Yeah, not a ton of decommitments. I think the last one was the only guy I can't remember his name at Marietta, the edge rusher.
Jay Hardy?
No, Marietta.
Marietta. Where's Hardy's from Chattanooga?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Hope you guys know who we're talking about too.
Yeah.
If not, Landon will pull that name up.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that. You just gotta carry that momentum into the season. You gotta win football games. If you win football games, I think the staff has it's BJ Ojolari. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yep.
The guys on the staff have great. They've proven that they have great relationships with a bunch of these guys. Even if they don't pick Tennessee at the end of it, I feel like it's never like a bad breakup.
Right.
The Jay Hardy one was the only one that was very strange. And he didn't even decommit. He just committed to Auburn and signed, and we didn't know it. But yeah, I think it's this whole staff does a great job of just keeping guys in here. And even when we lost to BYU and Georgia State, we didn't see a ton of guys in that class just leave.
Right.
I mean, there was some that was like, hey, my options are still open, and that's to be expected. But you didn't see guys just leave out of Tennessee from there.
Right, which is good. I mean, you're competing for some of the best, and now it seems to be maybe landing some of the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's something brewing in Knoxville, and I think the whole country is starting to take notice on it.
You kind of have to. I know we want to be back in Neyland. I know we want all this to end, but we kind of have to, I think, ask ourselves: is it worth being miserable to be getting all these guys? If we win a national championship next year and we can't be in any games, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Exactly. So
great.
I need everybody to kind of sit back. I know it sucks. I know we're getting restless. I know we want to be in Neyland. I've dreamt about a tailgate this week. Like, that's how much I miss it.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember like one dream a month, which if anybody knows anything about dreams, is that unhealthy? Because I feel like I've heard it is. But
if you can only remember, or if you have the same dream,
I don't have the same dream. I do have the same nightmare. The only nightmare I have is always the same nightmare.
Oh, that's weird.
I feel like someone's gonna be like, yeah, that means you're and say something crazy.
Psychotic.
Yeah, it's like that means you're definitely gonna do something crazy. But no, I did dream about being at a tailgate, and it was good. It was, as always, it was good. So yeah, I mean, that's what I should say. Regardless, let's say we get to the 2020 season and there's no fans. Don't worry, we'll be tailgating.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
For sure.
No, don't worry about it. Obviously, Cody Brown and Deshaun Rucker, the two guys we just talked about, are huge additions. Obviously, you want to hang on to them in the class. Tennessee, you can use 4 stars, 5 stars, all of it, because those guys are talented, like you said. You don't get there without being talented. Yes, you have to develop that talent and eventually turn it into wins, but you got to start by getting them on campus. Tennessee's done half the battle in terms of getting their verbal commitment, get that letter signed in December, and get them on campus. Nowadays, it's like the letter hardly means anything too. You got to get them on campus.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is we're doing all this during a pandemic. There's no, it's basically like a period where they can only have contact. They can't visit. There's no coaching visits. There's
right.
Nothing like that. It's literally just Zoom calls and texts
right.
and things like that. So the fact that we did this week during this whole coronavirus thing is incredible.
Right, and I think that boils down to relationships. You talked about that, and Tennessee does a phenomenal job with relationships. Who are the guys calling consistently? Not constantly, but consistently. Mm-hmm. Who are the guys checking in consistently? But I think that kind of goes back to what Terrence Lewis said. That was one of the big things. Brian Niedermeyer seems to care about winning football games, but also care more than just that. So
yeah.
That's good to see. So Terrence Lewis, obviously a great addition. Tylen Evans, I like Tylen Evans. I'm curious to see what his rating's at when that JUCO rating comes out.
Mm-hmm. Probably be a 4-star, if I had to guess.
4?
If he stays at the number 2.
Yeah, and I want to see some measurables for him. I didn't see any measurables. He looks pretty fast. I'd like to see a 40 time just for fun. I know it doesn't mean everything, but it's still good. It's good to see a number.
Yeah,
it's fun to see a number.
And all these recruits out of state, they're not one has been in state.
And we have the number 1 in Florida and Alabama right now, right?
Yes.
And potentially, who's the number 1 Georgia guy? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you. I can click on it right now.
It's
I expect you to know. It's Amarius Mims.
okay.
And he's committed to Georgia?
No, he's not.
He's not committed, so he's just getting a bunch of crystal balls?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a fun...
It's between us and Georgia. I mean, he's another one that this whole
I'm sure
Terrence Lewis and Kamara Wilcoxon have been going after.
I'm sure if he decommits from Georgia and goes to Tennessee, he just... Well, Georgia didn't want him.
No, yeah.
Georgia didn't want him. Yeah, because... Oh, dude, I can't wait for... I'm not saying Kirby Smart's going to be like a terrible SEC coach, but I cannot wait to see them missing on... Like, he's not... They think he's the next Saban. No, he's not. You know who he's the next? Mark Rick. That's exactly who he is.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and that's
Mark
what he's
Rick
always.
With hair.
He's that's the only two ways he can go. I mean, I guess he could be
he could be a terrible coach.
Worse, but like that's kind of where he's stuck right now.
And I think Mark Rick's good and was good at Georgia. So like, I don't think Georgia's getting like the bad end of the stick there. They're just getting some what we call that's not even really karma because it probably would be worse for them if it was karma, but it's just like irony, I guess. Mm-hmm. Get some good irony.
Yep,
I like it.
Yeah, the whole Jake Fromm and getting rid of Justin Fields and Jacob Eason, that could have been me. One thing I do want to mention with Terrence Lewis, he's the first 5-star outside linebacker since Kevin Simon in 2001 that Tennessee's got in that class.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yep.
Yeah, we mentioned that they were just guys like not in state like this. We talked about the in-state crop is just not as strong as it was last year. We're getting guys that's like not only are they being considered for like these states that we're pulling them out of, like they're considered lean. Like national media is picking them to go to these schools, and we're taking them from them.
Yep.
In the middle of a pandemic. Like where they have to stay at home.
Everybody's scared about Corona. Should be scared about the balls.
I guess they're just like, I can't be at home anymore. I got to get out of the state. I'm going to Tennessee. Maybe that's what it is.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with staying here. So
right. If I need to. Yeah. For the better of Tennessee football, gladly.
Yeah.
Gladly.
But Kamara Wilcoxon, he's got to be the recruiter of the year, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he looks... He's not the highest rated guy in this class, but he looks like a freaking steal.
Yeah.
Like, he's a steal of the draft right now.
I mean especially, like, not only for his abilities, but if he's able to go out and get all these other guys, I mean...
Yeah.
He's going to be...
And I think
that's going to get more than you bargained for.
That's part of this class. And maybe social media wasn't just so prevalent back when Butch Jones was here, but I didn't see, like... I didn't feel like the players and the staff were on the same page all the time like I do with this staff.
Butch had that his first year. That 1 year with the legacy class where guys were going out and recruiting.
Right.
And, I mean, I remember one that stood out to me. Like, Brian Randolph was, like, hosting recruits pretty much. Like, I mean, obviously they had to go through Tennessee, but, like, pretty much by himself. Like, he was the one touring them around and
Byron Moore was like that, too.
Or maybe it's Byron Moore, not Brian Randolph.
Yeah.
It wasn't Brian Randolph. I apologize.
Yeah.
Byron Moore. Well, I guess Brian Randolph could have been, but Byron Moore was on Twitter doing it. And he was doing a good job of like trying to make Tennessee better. And you need guys like that.
But Tennessee's got a whole lot of them. Like Harrison Bailey's doing. That's one thing for me is like this whole JT Daniels thing is coming up. But Harrison Bailey seems like he's 100% with Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't.
Or maybe he's just ready to compete. Which you got to appreciate.
Yeah.
Got to appreciate
Absolutely.
it. We're going to go to a short break real quick. We're going to bring Billy Ratliff back with us. We're going to be talking about his days as a Vol, his days now as a VFL, and his shows with Volunteer Roadshow and Morning Chat. So we'll be right back. Stick with us.
And we're back, and we have a special guest, Volunteer Roadshow's own VFL, Billy Ratliff, the MVP or the star of the show with this Arkansas rewatch that we're doing. So, Billy, how you doing, man? Billy, you there?
I'm here, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So Billy, I was just kind of introducing you a little bit VFL, kind of the savior for that '98 season with that stumble fumble or it was against Arkansas. It was at in Neyland. So tell us a little bit of just kind of that season as a whole and what was kind of your mindset. A lot of national media and I guess people around Tennessee thought it was going to be a rebuilding year, but it was definitely not the case. So what was kind of y'all's mindset going into that season?
Well, I'll tell you this here, man. That season coming in after '97, after we lost quite a bit in '97 with Peyton, Leonard, all those guys, and a lot of people didn't think that we had a chance to, win no more than 8 games. And I'm including our coaches, because our coaches, said the same thing. I don't know if they was using it as a motivational tool or whatever, but, I remember Coach Foreman saying that, I think that we have our team this year, we may win 8 games, if that. And, of course, that motivated us, and then you got players like Al Wilson, T-Mart, Pillis Price, these guys, the one person that really pissed off was Al Wilson. Al was, when they said that about 8 games that we was going to win, Al went ballistic. He pretty much called a meeting with everybody and told the coaches to get the hell out of the meeting.
It's fair. I mean, that seems like something he would do.
Oh, man. Al was, everything you heard about Al is exactly who Al was, man.
We were just talking about his return and after the blocked field goal, and he's the only person I think I've ever seen that's scarier running the football than he is tackling. I mean, he looked like he was trying to hit someone as hard as he could as he tried to score a touchdown.
He was something else, man. I mean, I was just he didn't play, man. He was not the type of guy on the field you wanted to have tail with, man. I mean, he was the coach. Everybody said Peyton was coaching the offensive coordinators. Well, Al was the same way. And that was, I'm talking about as a freshman, Al was like this. It wasn't till he became a senior that he became great, man. Al was like this when we first came in '95. We both came at the same time. And Al had this leadership thing that he had that was 24/7, man. I mean, even the older guys that we was playing with, they looked at Al was like he was a senior. That's the type of leader he was, man. And Al was just a special talent, man. When I found out that Al, this is when I realized Al was going to be who Al was. It was the game where we played Memphis and lost to Memphis. And at halftime, I remember we was barely even winning at that time because, Memphis, they couldn't score on offense. I don't even think Memphis had 100 yards total the whole game, and they beat us. And at halftime, you talk about Peyton Manning as a Heisman Trophy candidate. Peyton Manning is like the Tom Brady now in college. You couldn't touch him. But at halftime, this is when I knew Al Wilson was going to be who Al became. When Al was cursing out Peyton Manning, and we were talking about Al's a freshman now. He's cursing out Peyton Manning, and then this is when I knew. When Coach Foreman looked at Al and said, "Al, you need to calm down." Al turned around and said, "Coach Foreman, if you don't get out my you-know-what face, I'm talking to my teammate. You my coach, this my teammate. This between me and him." From that moment on, man, that's what put Al to become the leader he became, man.
Yeah, and that kind of was the mantra of the whole defense. And I'm obviously it took more than Al Wilson, but he definitely was kind of the attitude setter. Is that right?
Tone setter.
Yeah. You all just that defense, especially in '98, was just played with an attitude. And I think that play we were just talking about where you were able to wreak some havoc in the backfield and create a fumble. What was going on there in not only your minds but your teammates' minds? Because it flashes to the sideline and a couple guys' heads are down. It definitely seemed like a loss before the Arkansas fumble. What was that play like? You knew you had to make a play, I assume.
Well, it's I'm gonna tell you like this. So, everybody always try to tell me, they want me to tell the story, what happened before the play, and all these things here. And I mean, everything that you heard about it was exactly true. What I said to T. Martin about keeping his helmet on, we about to get this ball back. Every defensive player in America, if they're not thinking like that when they're going on their field, they're not a player anyway. And when I said this to T, I didn't think it was going to actually happen. So when I told T, I said, hey, man, hey, keep your helmet on, man. We're going to get the ball back, man. I got you, baby. And I go out there, and guys, I'm telling you this here. Before that 1st and 10 that we went on the field, I had 0 tackles, 0 tackles for loss. I didn't even have a pass breaker.
Hey.
I didn't have a tip ball. I didn't have anything.
Hey, you don't have to out yourself. We didn't read the stats off. You got to do that to yourself.
But the thing is, I was used to having tackles for
Right.
loss in the backfield and stuff because offensive linemen couldn't block me. If you block me one-on-one, it's not going to work. But this kid that was across from me, man, oh, my gosh. Brandon Birdworth, man, when I say this, he was a monster. He didn't look like he was an All-American, a monster, man, because when I say, if you just saw him out there in front of you, this man had these big Coke bottle goggles on. His pads was just hanging out to, his hilt pads was hanging out like your Pee-wee pads and stuff. And my defensive players like Al Wilson, Raynaud, Fred White, all they do is talk noise the whole game to who they think is the weakest link on offense. And they so happened to pick this man out because he looked like he wasn't ready or whatever. And, man, guys, when I say this here man here was a brick wall, I couldn't do nothing against him. It was times I tried to switch with Darwin Walker to get him to change positions and come to the left side because hey, Darwin, hey, man, this guy pretty strong, man. I think if you use your strength against him, man, I think you can get to the quarterback a lot easier. And, of course, Darwin's like, okay, man, I got you. I got it, man. Darwin had that little soft-spoken voice. And he gets over there, 2 plays, boom, boom. He's like, hey, Warren, man, we got to switch back, man. That man sounds serious there, man. But on that play, though, man, I got to the point where I realized I was listening to the snap count. And Clint, he had a different cadence when he was going to do a quick count and when he was going to try to make it a long count. Well, this series, he made on 1st and 2nd down, he did a long count to try to make us jump off sides or whatever. But I didn't care what he was going to do. I didn't care what play we call on defense. All I was going to do is run a 40 to the goalpost and put my hands in this man's chest and push him back as far as possible. That's all I was thinking about is jumping the snap and try to get out the ball. I didn't think that when I got in Birdworth's chest and bull rushed him, that it was going to push him back that far to trip over the quarterback's leg. And of course, I still, to this day, I don't know what the heck coach was thinking of calling a pass play when all they had to do was just milk the clock.
Correct. Yep. That's Houston enough for you, I guess.
Man, and he'll tell you, man, he's like, yes, I was trying to win the game. I was trying to get a 1st down and run the clock out, and it'll be a lot harder for us to drive it down and score. But I don't think he was expecting the Travis Henry show to become what it was.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, he was a workhorse, and, you talked about some of those guys. They mentioned earlier in the season, so we're watching through the whole season. They mentioned not Travis Henry, but Jamal Lewis and Al Wilson had a bench press contest that they had to stop because they didn't want either one of them to get hurt. So, do you know for a fact did they finish this maybe on their own time?
Oh, they did. I mean, Jamal was a monster, man, with the bench press, man. I mean, Al was too, man, but Jamal was a different breed, man. I mean, I've seen this firsthand. You know, I mean, you're talking about a running back bench pressing 400 pounds like it wasn't nothing, man. I mean,
It's crazy.
you know, 400 pounds, that's a lot of weight, man. People don't realize that, but 400 pounds is not light, man. And I'm talking about it wasn't just your any type bench press. You know, you're talking about the prison style bench press where he bounce it, push it back up, and come halfway down, and push it right back up. Like it was nothing, man. I mean, and then that competition that day when him and Al, you know, I think it was like they were doing like 350, then they went to 375, and then 405 or something like that. You know, that was like the reps, like 6 reps of this and then 8 reps and all this. But when they got to the 405, man, I'm watching these two do this here because they worked out together. They was roommates, so you basically, you know, you worked out around your schedule with each other because they rode to campus together, so they had to work out together. Well, I'm like, man, ain't no way they about to do this. I mean, because I know what they have bench pressed before. You know, I know they can do 350 like it's nothing, but we had strength coaches, man, that will make you believe that you can lift the dang on mountain, man. They'll be, you know, you have these guys, these personal trainers that barely touching the bar, talking about some one more set when you don't have nothing left. Well, that's what our strength coaches were doing to Jamal and Al. They got to 375, and I remember Al pushing it up like it was just like a piece of paper. And Jamal got over there, and then he got up and he did 380, and Al was like, you know what? Let's try this 405.
Oh, my goodness.
They had never did 405 before, man, and they're going to put 405 on this bar.
So they get it? Is 405 the highest?
Yeah, and then Al got it. So Al had a different technique when he did the bench. He would drop the bar, the weight on his chest so hard where it bounces off his chest, and it goes right back up. I'm like, man, I don't know how you do that. Because if I bounce it off my chest like that, I feel like my rib cage is going to collapse.
Yeah, your heart will stop.
And when Al got the 405, Jamal was not going to let him outdo him. And sure enough, Jamal did 405 like it wasn't nothing. And that's when they quit. They quit at the 405. They didn't let them go no more.
They're done.
That was probably. I mean, obviously they were freaks, but I'd imagine that was some adrenaline working the.
Oh yeah,
the bar
I mean
too.
that was probably just that whole team, just the competition and all of them. And you hear a lot about it today. And guys don't want to go to different schools because they might have to sit behind somebody. They don't really want to earn their spot. But there was just a different mindset with this group that the competition was always there.
My guys, competition on my team when I played, it was, gosh, you know, there was not a day that there wasn't a competition. You know, I'm talking about from getting to the stadium first. I'm talking about who had the cleanest car. I'm talking about who had, you know, who it was competition all the time. Mad competition. Hey, it can be Tiger Woods golf or something. You know, we competed against everything. Who had the best dip and rip move? You know, we competed about anything. But when it came to practice, guys, I tell you like this here, man. I never played in a game harder than any practice I ever practiced. You know, and I'm serious. I mean, me playing against Brandon Burrsworth was practice for me every single day because I had a kid by the name of Cozy Coleman that was across from me that I had to go against every single day during that time. And I mean, Cozy, those are my 2 toughest offensive linemen I ever played against ever was Cozy Coleman, Brandon Burrsworth. Nobody else can block me. That's point blank period.
I like
if
that.
you playing me one-on-one, there's no blocking me. You're going to have to double team me.
We've got film to prove it, too, if they have a question about it. We got film to prove it.
So Billy, I have a question. So you come from Mississippi, so you're not a Tennessee guy. You have some Tennessee guys, but it's like a good mix. But with this class, currently the 2021 class, they're going out of state and getting all these, you know, big time recruits. What's it like going from out of state to Tennessee? What was kind of that process like, and what? Because you're still here, so you obviously enjoyed it that much, where you're still enjoying it down in Knoxville. So what was kind of that like?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, man. Like doing my recruiting process, man, it was different from me because I didn't know anything about Tennessee. I didn't know anything about any other schools besides Jackson State, Alcorn, Southern Miss, LSU. I didn't even know anything about Ole Miss. I didn't know anything about Mississippi State. None of that. Traditions, I knew none of that stuff. I just remember when I did come to Tennessee on a visit, all the kids, all of my teammates, everybody that I met, it made me feel like I was at home. It made me feel like each one of the guys that committed to Tennessee that I ended up coming up here with, it reminded me of one of my teammates that I played with in high school. And still to this day, me and most of my teammates that I played with, they're still my friends. We still talk. It's the brotherhood that we committed to and created. Now we have, we know each other as like, family members, kids and everything. It was the family-oriented process is what made me love Tennessee. When we created that bond, and we haven't broken it yet, man, because I'm still cool with every last one of those guys, man. I may not talk to them every single day, but once we get together, it's almost like we haven't skipped a beat. Al comes in town, it's like we freshmen all over again. Fred comes in town, Peyton comes in town. It don't matter who it is, and that's the process that I wouldn't even think, going back to high school to now, I can't believe that I'm still here in Tennessee because the Billy Ratliff that came from Mississippi, my mom would tell you this, I was a mama boy. When I moved away to Tennessee and she dropped me off, she dropped me off here at the age of 16 years old. I'm a 16-year-old freshman here with grown men. I've never been away from home. I've never had to wash my own clothes. I never had to do stuff. I was homesick plenty of times. I skipped town 3 times before I actually became committed to Tennessee football. Believe it or not, man. The coaches came got me 3 times. Man.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna have to.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, man. I would do. I would do it exactly the same way.
I think that's great to hear because I think everybody kind of imagines that's how the Tennessee football family is inside the building, because a lot of us that go into Neyland on those Saturdays in the fall or go tailgating together and just like live, breathe Tennessee football on the outside, that's how it is to us. So I think it's always like it's nice to hear that's the way it is inside the building, and that's what we figured, and how they run this program kind of seems to be a family environment. That's awesome. Looking at kind of at this class specifically, what's your favorite thing so far? I feel like there's new additions every day, but what's your favorite thing about the class that they put together for 2021?
Hey guys, I think I'm losing you.
You got me now? Sorry about that.
Okay, I can hear you now. What did you say now?
Perfect. Let's looking at the 2021 class specifically, and how you obviously got a ton of new commitments. What's your favorite thing about this class that stood out so far that they put together for 2021? I think it hung up. We lost Billy there. We're gonna try to get him back on the phone real quick to finish up this interview. Let's see here. 1 minute. Well, we'll go back and we'll start talking some recruiting though real quick, because we left off before we got Billy on the phone. We were talking about the 2021 class. I know a lot of people are interested in hearing about that, as you had the commitments of 4-star Cody Brown and 3-star Deshaun Rucker. Just this, Landon mentioned it too, Billy, kind of how this staff's just building out of state guys right now, and a big group of talent too, but some of the best from out of state.
Yeah, and there's only So I'm looking at the 247 right now. There's only 2 teams that have multiple 5 stars committed currently, and Tennessee's one, and Ohio State is the other.
Dang.
And Terrence Lewis is the second highest rated player in the country that's currently committed. So a lot of those guys want to wait till the end, but Terrence Lewis is
Hanging on.
Is the number 9 player in the country right now, and he's already committed, and that was April. So a long ways, but hey.
Hopefully, hang on. Hopefully, we get him on campus. And
we will take that.
We're going.
Yeah, let's talk about the rankings real quick. So Tennessee
Moving on up. Well, not really.
Yeah.
Since we talked
we're getting
last.
closer. we're putting on some more steam.
Right.
So Tennessee is ranked number 3 in the country, number 1 in the SEC. Ohio State's number 1. North Carolina is number 2. Florida number 4, and Clemson at 5. Some other interesting ones: Georgia at 16, LSU at 17, Rutgers at 19.
Oh, nice, Shiano.
Yeah.
So is he higher than Alabama?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm
they're
still going. I'll get to that. So Miami,
okay.
Ohio is number 25.
Hey, don't skip our boy Les.
Oh, Kansas is at 26. Who else? Nebraska 36. SMU is at 40. Toledo 42. Northern Illinois is at 43. Western Michigan 48. South Carolina 49. Hold on, I have to load more.
Hold on.
Yeah. Arkansas is at 51. Rice is at 53, and just ahead of University Texas San Antonio is Alabama at 54. Man,
So
killing
obviously,
it with this class.
it means nothing right now.
Right.
But my question.
The pandemic going on, I think he's a guy that's always kind of been